The Sky People have sent us a message, and that is that Avatar: The Way of Water is incredible. But the real question is, how powerful can this movie be worldwide, and will it have the same impact as the first? Let's talk about it.
Jones Vibes.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Jones Vibes. If you're new to the channel, I do movie and television reviews, and if you see me, I see you. And today we're talking about Avatar: The Way of Water, the highly anticipated sequel to Avatar from James Cameron. I'm going to be giving my star rating at the end of this, so stick around, and also a bit later I'm going to be talking about the impact that this movie has the potential to have worldwide. But okay, and holy, wow, insane, best ever. Oh my gosh. I just feel like, I don't know, I just need to breathe or something. Hit the like button if you feel like me. Honestly, I haven't been this excited about a movie since probably The Force Awakens. I think I've said that before, but I don't know. The anticipation has been absolutely killing me, and the best news is that this movie delivered on everything that I wanted and more. Like, I'm absolutely blown away by the pure spectacle of this. Like, how is it possible? The first Avatar movie changed everything. It was a clear showcase of why we go to the theater, right? And 13 years later, here we are, and we needed it again. And James Cameron delivered. He always does. And it should be said that I'm a huge fan of the first movie. I think I saw it 5 times in theaters, and I do think that this movie was better than the first, but that's really saying something for me. I've seen a lot of reviews so far where people are like, it's miles ahead of the first, and I just feel like that's kind of tough. People harp on the story of the first movie a lot, but the genius is in the deeper meaning. It's about what it's showing you and what it's making you feel. James Cameron is also a great writer, but an even better world builder. And his ability to cut through to your emotions is rivaled by very few directors. But now we're here. Avatar: The Way of Water. We had the forest speaking to us in the first, and now we have the ocean. And what he managed to do with this film is elevate every single thing that made the first so special. The story was more complex, and somehow it was even more emotional. Like, way more emotional than I was expecting. I was in tears, like, especially in the third act. And besides that, the effects were a revolutionary accomplishment. I almost had trouble paying attention at certain points because I was like, God, that looks incredible. And my initial feelings were that it felt like Braveheart or Dances with Wolves or Titanic. I had this feeling midway through like I was watching history. And there were scenes in this movie reminiscent of scenes from those movies, and I think James Cameron understands that, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say. It had the story beats that we all want to see, but in a new and fresh way. You know what I would also compare it to is The Patriot for some reason. I was getting Patriot vibes. There's this scene where Jake Sully's running through the forest with like a hatchet, and I was like, that's Mel Gibson, man, protecting his family. And that's what was so unexpected about the action. Arrows picking people off, limbs flying in the air, and crazy hand-to-hand combat. The detail was insane, and Neytiri was a big part of that. She was so badass. Like, so badass. It's also just a movie that you need to see in a movie theater. Nowadays, people just wait for something to come to streaming, and then they watch it on their phone. And this is not, I repeat, this is not the movie to do that with. It was made to be seen in 3D and on the biggest possible screen that you have access to. But with that being said, I am gonna start getting into some spoilers, so if you haven't seen Avatar: The Way of Water, you should probably check out right now. Okay, now I'm probably gonna end up doing a video essay on this movie like the one that I did on the sequel trilogy because there's just so much to talk about. But a good place to start is just with the Sully family. I saw them in the trailers and I was aware that they would have a purpose in the movie, but I wasn't really envisioning how big of a purpose. Loak was the real standout for me. The younger brother, the outcast, but driven by a truth that compels him to push forward. He knows right from wrong, even if he's a little impulsive with his young age. And I loved the relationship that he developed with the Tulkun, like the big whale creature, who was also an outcast. But then there is Kiri, and she was awesome. I feel like she also represented the side of the story that had to do with faith and belief for me. There are certain things in this world that we we can't explain, or we have a hard time explaining. And yeah, I just thought her connection to Eywa was beautiful. But I have a lot of questions about her, and we'll probably get answers in the third or the fourth film, but like, who is her dad? Or is this some sort of immaculate conception type deal? In the first movie, Grace and the Avatar, like they were trying to connect the mind. Was there something that happened in the midst of that? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you have any theories about that, because I would love to hear about it. But then the little girl, Took, she was just absolutely adorable. From the dialogue written for her to just everything. I love how you have this smaller child trying to tag along with the big kids. And then there is Neteyam, the older, wiser brother who just represents good and discipline. Kind of the father's golden child, a Boromir, if you will. But obviously we have Jake and Neytiri, and it's amazing to see them back. But then on the other side, we have Spider, this human child who we find out is the son of Quaritch. And who is the mother? Again, so many questions. I really liked Spider, though. Jack Champion is a solid actor, and I thought that this character's subtle, just confusion was interesting. I'm hesitant to say it, but I feel like he's going to play a major role in the future films. And Quaritch, or just like the Avatar version of Quaritch, was a phenomenal idea. All of his memories implanted in this avatar, but it also leads to the questions of free will. This version of Quaritch knows that he died. He knows that he lost. And there's just so much motivation, man. Like, the best villains are the ones that you can kind of sympathize with in a way. And I think Spider sees that in this guy as well. And yeah, just that memory implantation thing. What amazes me is just how heavy James Cameron can lean into sci-fi, creating this entire world with technology and different machines, but then on the other side of it, we're exploring the ocean. And God, that was beautiful. With the Metkayina, and we should mention Kate Winslet as Renal and Cliff Curtis as Tonowari, both of whom had phenomenal performances. That scene when the Tulkun, I think I'm saying that right, come through the village and they're like catching up and telling stories with these whales. It was surprisingly emotional. And once again, we go on this journey of exploring a new culture and learning their ways. Reminiscent of the first and leading us into a final act that was just about as James Cameron has ever been. For Jake and Neytiri, it's about protecting their family. Someone is after them. Someone is threatening their well-being. So, what are they supposed to do? Fight. They can't run forever. And the action sequences were freaking mind-blowing. And in the heat of battle and in the midst of all the chaos, all of a sudden, Neteyam has been shot. And this was another part of the Patriot aspect that I was talking about. It's like, reminded me of Gabriel. So effective, man. The older brother just trying to protect his younger brothers. And Jake just looking into his eyes, and he's like, I want to go home. I want to go home. And suddenly, he's gone. A son, a brother, a warrior, and then you have the mother, Zoe Saldana, Neytiri, losing her baby. It was insane. Just screaming. I mean, that performance could get nominated. That was crazy. And then the parents take that anger and they go and just annihilate a ship of people. This final act was everything. A showdown between Jake and Quaritch, and then it's like Titanic, and they're trapped in the ship. The children save the parents, and then the father-son and the mother-daughter moments were just something else. But then Spider, Neytiri was ready to kill Spider, it looked like. And so what do y'all think's gonna happen with him? In the end, he saves his kind of dad, like they've built this odd relationship, but then he goes back with the Sullys. Like, do you think that's going to eventually lead him into hate of some sort? Or turn him into a villain? I don't know. I think things could build up to a Spider and Kiri showdown. That'd be pretty sick, but that's just a theory. And the way it ends is somewhat similar to the first, but this time they're giving Neteyam to Eywa. And it's a sad scene. It's a sad way to kind of end things. You have the whole family just watching them bury their brother. But you have this close-up on Jake and his eyes open again, just like the first, and he's like, from now on, it's a fight. And that's dope. And boom, we have a sequel to Avatar. I'm finding it hard to believe that this is real a little bit. And my screening was absolutely packed, man. Like, there isn't much competition this holiday season, so it leaves a lot of room for this thing to just absolutely dominate at the global box office. And I hope it does, because not only is this now my favorite movie of the year, but it just has such an important message that I think can resonate. The first Avatar brings to light deforestation. It's awful, and these are things that are happening that people don't want to think about, but they are happening. And with this film, we're talking about our beautiful oceans, and that these are things that are sacred and that need to be preserved. But James Cameron really, he makes that case, and he makes you understand that this planet has a heartbeat. You can just tell that he has so much passion for it. And as a franchise, I'm sure it's just going to continue and carry on that message. But as for the second installment, Avatar: The Way of Water, I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I know I get hyped often, but I feel like this one for sure deserves it. Oh man, it blew me away. But what did you think about it? What are some of your theories, and what was your favorite scene or your favorite part of the movie? Please let me know down in the comments, and also give this video a like. That would help me out enormously. And if you enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button and join the Jones Vibes community. I got a lot planned for the channel, and things have just been really exciting lately, so keep checking back. But yeah, that was Avatar: The Way of Water. As always, I hope you all are safe, happy, and healthy, and I'll be seeing you next time.
Jones Vibes.